Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to make your own Vambrace armor. First, you're going to measure the wrist, your forearm, and the length of your forearm. Next, you're going to take your wrist measurement and the length of your forearm and make a square and divide it into 4 equal parts. Afterwards, you're going to cut out the box. Once you cut out the box, you're going to slice the box into 4 equal parts, not cutting all the way through. Then you're going to draw a line the same width as your forearm. After, you're going to fan out the box so that it matches the line of your forearm. Make sure to tape it so it doesn't move when you mark it. After you're done marking it, it's time to cut out your pattern for your forearm. Afterwards, you're going to take your forearm pattern piece and trace it onto some foam. I decided to use some floor mats since I plan to use this multiple times. Then you're going to take a heat gun to heat up the foam. Then bend it into shape. Get some contact cement and apply it to both ends of your foam. When using contact cement, be sure to use some sort of face protection since it is toxic and bad to breathe in. After 20 minutes, it's ready to use and is sticky to the touch. And finally, you have your own forearm piece. Now I want to say thank you to the foamery for sending me this large roll of 10mm foam. We're going to use it to make the actual armor. First, we're going to need a ruler. I decided to make a foam ruler by marking their actual ruler onto some 10mm foam. With the foam ruler, we're going to make another pattern just like we did with the forearm piece. Be sure to tape your paper down before marking or else it will move. After you're done marking it, you can cut it out and now you have your new forearm armor pattern. Now I'm going to take some 10mm foam and trace out our armor. When cutting out your foam, be sure to use a sharp blade or else you'll have to sand the ends afterwards. Again, I used a heat gun to heat up the foam. Afterwards, I cut some lines into my foam so that my foam has a strong connection to my closer. I used the heat gun to expand the lines. I sewed a zipper to some webbing as my closer. Now I applied contact cement to the closer. And inside the foam. After 20 minutes, the glue was ready and then I applied it to the foam on both sides. Afterwards, my forearm bracer was ready. Now it's time to make the shell. I took some 5mm magnets and some 4mm foams to glue them to the base of the foam and to the shell. I used some contact cement to glue the magnets to the base. Now it's time to make this shell pattern. If you would like to see in detail how I made my shell pattern, feel free to comment below. But for now, remember to trace and also cut out your foam with a sharp blade so you don't have to sand the edges later. Now it's time to curve the pieces of the shell. Take a rounded object and a heat gun and form the foam so that it makes a smooth, rounded surface. Apply contact cement to the inside edges of the pieces. Leave it alone for 20 minutes. Then carefully connect the edges of your shell. After, you are done. Last part is to connect the magnets to the inside part of the shell. Once the magnets and everything is glued in, it's all ready. For my design, I decided to make sheets of metal that will go on the outside of my shell. After I've marked my shell and cut out my foam, I applied contact cement to both the shell and to the pieces of foam. Next, I wanted to add a really thick edge to the base and to the shell. So I got my Dremel and started sanding the ends so that it would make a really nice corner. Next, I marked my shell so I know exactly where to apply the contact cement for the edge. After I let the glue dry, I slowly and carefully applied the edge to the shell. I repeated the process for the top of the shell and also for the base. After everything was set, I decided to add some details by scoring the foam with my razor and expanding the lines with a heat gun afterwards. After I heated up the foam, I primed the armor with Plastidip and spray paint. Afterwards, I used some rub and buff to paint the armor. For weathering, I took some water and acrylic black paint and smeared it all over the armor. I made sure to use a paper towel to wipe off the black paint immediately, not to make it too dark. And here is the results. To make the armor more secure, I decided to add some foam padding inside the armor. So I cut out some more foam and glued it inside the armor. Now it's a snug fit. And then it's done. Oh, and I forgot one more thing. It glows. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Made It For Me, and thank you to the Foamery for sending me their foam. I couldn't have done it without them. And as always, see you in the next one.